They got problems on problems on problems on problems on problems on problems I solve them. I run through the money, the pressure be calling. Left on my blessings, I feel like I'm falling. The birdie is back, tell me I'm garbage. I'm going through something, that's why I ain't calling. Phone and progression, it's all that I wanted. The phone and affection, I summon and dub it. Cause I got problems on problems.
What's going on, people? It's the Xbot 448. And today, guys, I know I am doing this a little bit late, kind of later on in the day. I had to cook dinner and everything for the kids, all that good stuff. But this is something I definitely wanted to talk about. And I have a feeling some of my YouTube compadres, basically, some of my YouTube buddies might not touch this topic, but I think it's a really important thing to talk about. You know, amongst like the gaming community and stuff like that. Yo, huge shout out to Dravenero, or is it D Ravenero? D Ravenero? Something like that. But huge shout out to you, brother. JT Gamer, what is up? Anthony Wallace, what is going on? Yeah, definitely. Yo, do like and share, especially with this video, because with what we're talking about, there's a good chance this video is probably not even going to get monetized or anything like that. But I feel it's something that needs to be talked about. I think that the discussion needs to come up here because, again, yes, guys, again, video games are being blamed for violent acts out here in real life. I lived through the whole Columbine thing, right? The Columbine shootings, where because the shooters were into Doom, all of a sudden there was this huge thing about, you know, violence in video games when it comes to that. And that was part of the reason why those kids shot up the school and all that stuff. So I lived through that. I'm here through this as well with you guys. Yo, what is up, everybody in the chat? Antonio Alisea, what is going on? Jesse Darby, what is up? But yeah, because you know, within the past couple days, there was a couple mass shootings in the United States, in Texas and in Ohio, and certain politicians have come out and have blamed video games for these acts of violence. And, you know, there's been people throughout this whole thing that, you know, video games don't induce violent acts from people and stuff like that. And we're going to get into this on whether or not video games are to blame. Now, first off, I'm just going to give you my most blunt answer on this. No, video games are not the sole problem when it comes to these type situations. Let's see, going back, the politicians, House Minority Leader, I believe his name is Kevin McCarthy, basically came out after these shootings and blamed video games for these violent acts. And not only that, but the President of the United States as well started talking about violent video games and how they might mold a younger mind. And, you know, for people who have been following me for a while, yo, what is going on, Carlos? BitCloud Gaming, what is up? Good to see you guys in the chat. I'm a father, guys. I think you guys know that. I have multiple kids that I take care of. 3 in the house, 4 altogether, when you think about the second oldest that actually lives with his dad. One of the things with my oldest, because I had more control in his life for a longer period of time, when he was younger, when he was a kid, and he got into video games, I would not allow him to play violent shooters. I would not allow him to play violent video games. We were playing like Minecraft and stuff like that. There was a computer game called Webkins that he got into, but I was not going to let him right off the bat with a young mind get into violent video games. Now, as he got accustomed to video games, and as his mentality realized that there's a huge separation between what he's seeing on the screen and what real life is. And then we gradually, you know, kind of like stepped up the volume in terms of the types of video games that he can play and whatnot. And I feel that has actually contributed to a more mild-tempered child. Now, you put that into a different perspective. The twins that I take care of, they're about to be, well, me, you know, of course, me and O Snaps. I don't want to get O Snaps out of it. But the twins that are going to turn 12 this October, they didn't have that filter. And I will say that there was, when it came down to it, I feel like video games in their life had a mental effect on them to a certain extent. But with that being said, with what is going on in the United States in terms of mass shootings and whatnot, I don't care what games these people are playing, that is not the sole reason why things like this are going on. I look at, you know, the entire mentality of the person doing these things. All right. You look at their entire environment. All right. And what's going on in terms of social values. Like, and there's a lot to be said with what's going on in today's society. I do my best to try to teach the kids, right, to treat people the way you want to be treated, not how you are treated. And that to me is a moral value. I don't see a lot of people doing that today. I see a lot of people in terms of like getting revenge and whatnot. And it seems to be a social issue. Society itself is getting more and more barbaric. That's what I see going on. So when it comes down to like video games, no. And the reason why these politicians are pointing to video games, and I actually heard somebody from Inside Gaming say this. Basically, the reason why politicians are pointing to video games is because they can act like they are, you know, doing an outcry or they're taking a stand. And when it's all said and done, they're not really hurting their votes come election day. There's not a lot of like the traditional middle-aged to almost elderly who definitely go out there and vote every election. Like, they're not going to take too much of a hit if they call out video games, because the main demographic, the huge chunk that actually goes out and votes, don't really care. But the thing is, the gaming generations are also getting older as well. So they actually have to think about that at some point in time. They have to be like, you know what? Right around the corner. Now, me, I just hit 40 years old. I know people say I sound like I'm 12, but I just hit 40 years old. And with that being said, they need to start thinking about like my generation and stuff if you don't want to lose votes. I'm checking out the chat right now. The PlayStation Gamer in the chat, what is up, brother, said, violent video games are not the cause of violence. Violent people are. And that's the thing, like, you know, when it comes down to it, like, take the whole Columbine thing, like, so many years ago or whatnot. Like, they pointed out that those guys like to play Doom, right? Which we all know, Doom, you know, you're fighting demons, you're shooting demons. They have, like, huge pentagrams and stuff like that on the walls. I absolutely love the game Doom. But I'm not going to go shoot up a public space. But somebody who has the mentality to get attracted towards violent things might also like Doom. Doom's not the reason for anything, but their mentality, all right, their kind of darker mentality and stuff like that will bring them towards a game like Doom. But it's not the video game's fault. That's exactly right, PlayStation. Yo, what is up, Star Hunter? Great to see you in the chat. What is up, Carlos Acosta? He says, video games are not the problem. I play Halo, God of War, GTA, Gears of War, from when I was 10 years old. It's how politicians want more attention for against violence in games is dumb. Here's the deal. I've been hearing a lot of things about what they call gun control, right? I've been hearing about this for a while now. There's a certain kind of like political side that wants more rules for gun control. I will let you know right now, I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that. I don't believe that gun control is the issue. Yeah, what is up, Squeamish? Good to see you. I don't feel that gun control is the issue. I feel like it's a social issue. I feel like society has an issue today. And of course, it branches out and it acts out in different ways. You look at what's going on, even like, especially in this country, I don't see people treating people the way they want to be treated. To me, that's one of the end-all be-alls when it comes to getting along with people and having a happy life. Z Black Rider, why do I have so many of your mods blocked? Dude, I have no idea. Hold on, Z Black, man, you have been on this channel so much. You've supported me so much. Let me know if you don't want this, but for right now, you officially have a wrench by your name, man. But what I'm saying is, at the end of the day, there's no one single source for the issue. Our society has an issue, people, whether anybody wants to believe it or not. PlayStation Gamer, basically humans are being dehumanizing. That's pretty much it, man. That is a great way to say it. And I feel that the issue is within society, and it's not going to fix itself. Like, society is going to have to fix it. People within society have to fix it. All right. When it comes down to it, no, I don't believe that like young kids should play violent games. All right. I don't feel like, you know, if me and O Snaps have another kid or whatnot, and they're like 6, 7 years old, I'm not letting them play like Left 4 Dead or anything like that. But I'm gonna get them into, you know, Minecraft. I'm gonna get them into games that don't necessarily deal with violence. And once their brain can wrap around the difference between reality and a video game, then we can step it up a couple notches. And before you know it, they'll be sitting there playing Halo with me or something like that. Squeakers are really mouthy. Okay. But I feel it's absolutely ridiculous that politicians, they want to find a way to garner some attention, to make it act like they're taking a stand. Well, why don't you take a stand on social issues instead of taking a stand on something that you just feel isn't going to hurt your demographic of people that vote for you? All right, that's exactly what they're doing. They don't really care. All right, they're just trying to make it look like they care. At the end of the day, I don't think they really care. Now, shout out to AOC. I forget her first name. I forgot. Ocasio-Cortez, though. She's a Democrat in the House, and even though the House Minority Leader, you know, tried to blame violent games, and even though the Lieutenant Governor in Texas also tried to point it out, and the reason why he tried to point it out was because in the Texas mass shooting, the shooter quoted Call of Duty. Now, they just point at the surface with that he quoted Call of Duty at one point in time, so it's got to be because of the game. No, maybe he fit different social problems into that quote from Call of Duty. Now, if somebody goes out and decides they're going to shoot up a library or something and they're going to quote Edgar Allan Poe, I don't think that they're going to blame reading for the violence. You see what I'm saying? I feel like politicians are out there, they're trying to twist, they're trying to spin the narrative into something that they feel they can actually get out there and control, when it's not the problem. It's at least not the sole problem, all right? It goes much deeper than that, but I don't think these politicians want to approach the deeper issues that lead to people doing what these guys have done. It's absolutely insane, guys. I don't know how else to explain this, but video games are not the problem, all right? It's something deeper than that. And unfortunately, these people who are in chairs where they have a certain amount of power, they're never gonna recognize that it's more than video games, because video games, they're an easy excuse. They're an easy thing to push off problems on and say it's that right there. It's their fault right there. Again, I will tell you, I believe that video games do have an influence on really young minds. But when it comes to that, those young minds, those kids, they have parents. You know, the government shouldn't be the parents. The parents should be the parents. It is up to the parents to help mold their children, to help guide their children in the right areas on how to be good, decent people. I don't know, guys. I'm looking at the chat. What do you guys think? I want to know. Mr. Glass says they want a scapegoat, and the easiest thing is video games. Exactly, brother. That is exactly what I think. Yo, Captain Doug Nasty. You are absolutely right, Xbot. Halo is the cause of all this. We need to ban Halo and lock up all Halo players. Halo sucks. Dude, if we lock up all Halo players, how am I going to be able to make videos for you guys? I don't think I like that idea, and I think we should move on from that. PlayStation Gamer is mental health. We need a better mental health system, but they don't want to put the money into something actually positive. Now, I can see your point there. And again, I feel a lot of it also starts in the home. I don't know how many kids, because I'm not a shy dude. I will talk to grown-ups, kids on the street I'll say hi to and stuff like that, and you'll be surprised what kids say if you're just nice to them and say hi. And I know a lot of kids who their parents don't even know what they're doing. And that's a problem right there. If they don't know what they're doing, they see older gamers playing certain types of games that those kids have no business playing. That's where they're going to gravitate. And their parents, they won't know, what they're doing because they haven't known what they were doing. I feel that is an issue as well. Let's see, Star Hunter, if they stop games, then movies, then there'd be a bigger problem. Dude, exactly. They're only trying to scratch the surface. They're not trying to get down to the source of the itch. You know what I'm saying? You know when you have like a really deep mosquito bite and you just keep scratching at the skin? It's not helping you. Like you get that like kind of quick relief, but then the itch comes back like 10 times harder. These politicians out here, they're not trying to get to the root of the problem. They just want to hit the surface. They want to blame the skin for what's underneath the skin. That's what I feel is going on. Yo, huge shout out to Sir X-Man hitting up that super chat. Sometimes movies have more violence. And dude, I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you, man. Like I said, even in this house, the 11-year-olds, they were only able to watch certain types of movies for a while. At least in this house, we can't control like what other family members, what like other parents and stuff like that, because we are a very mixed match kind of like family. And I absolutely love that about like me and O-Snap's family. But there are other parents involved. We can't dictate what they do, but we can create a constant here, and that's what we have done. Leviathan. Yo, what is up, Christopher Hart, one of my moderators? He says, games should not be blamed, period. Right now, politicians are playing the popularity race, so they're making claims about things that are false right now. And like I said, they are ignoring the main issues. Yo, shout out to Z Black Rider. He says that, to me, he was like, this isn't new. 50 years of brainwashing takes its toll. And brother, that is right. The sources of these issues started way back, like years ago, and from generation to generation have been pushed and taught to the young kids. Then the young kids grew up, became adults, had kids, and it moved on. This is a culmination of certain bad things in society that have been ingrained and like years over years over years, and now look at what's happening. That's exactly what it is. It has nothing to do with video games. And frankly, I can't, man, people wonder why I call politics. I say it's just like wrestling. It's all like wrestling. They get in front of people and they'll point their fingers at each other and they'll wag their fingers and they'll say a couple things and they'll like throw shots at each other. But at the end of the day, they go back behind closed doors and they have a drink together and they laugh at how we believe they're separate. It's insane. That's the way I feel about it. That's why you hardly ever see me put anything on Twitter about politics. I'm not a big wrestling guy, and if I'm not a big wrestling guy, I'm not a big politic guy. It's, to me, it's as simple as that. Y'all would look at Secular Talks channel. Technic, yo, I'm gonna call you Technic, alright? I don't know what you're talking about, but if you follow me on Twitter, yo, DM me a link of whatever channel you're talking about, alright? Let's see. Now, okay, so Technic again, he said, well, they definitely don't want to talk about regulating guns. None of them are talking about how these guys had access to such deadly weapons. Now, brother, I don't feel it's the gun regulation type stuff that's the issue. I feel it's a social issue. How many people out there, people, who have a voice out in the community, how many people tell people to treat others the way that they want to be treated and teach that and live that in today's society? Not too many. Dude, not too many that I see. I know there are people out there, don't get me wrong. But when you look at society as a whole, that is not a main foundation in today's society. That one rule right there, that one rule, to treat people the way you want to be treated, that one rule can solve a hell of a lot of issues. Jesse, I am not going to tell you who to vote for. I am not going to tell you to vote. I'm not going to tell you not to vote. All right? All I'm doing is expressing my opinion here, and whatever you guys do with that, that's for you guys to kind of like think about and come up with a resolution. But like I said, to me, politics is just like wrestling. It's just like wrestling. They all have a script. They all go by that script. And you'd be hard pressed to find anybody in politics who believes half the bullshit they talk about. And guys, you see why I asked you to share this out? Because I have a feeling YouTube will not be sharing this video out to anybody. Yo, shout out to the PlayStation Gamer. He says, I might disagree with you when it comes to Xbox, but I definitely agree with you when it comes to guns. Yo, that's what it's all about, brother. Even though I know people love to get into the whole console war thing, and, you know, people love bickering back and forth and trying to, like, prove points and all that stuff. At the end of the day, even us as gamers, there's more to life than games. You know, if you ever notice, me and Next Gen, we don't see eye to eye in terms of gaming, but that is my brother right there. Me and Z are cool as hell. People ask me how come I'm still on Crap Gamers channel and stuff like that, because life is more than just games. And when it comes to shows like that, you know, Xbox Nation, Crossfire, I feel like I bring something to the table to those shows. I feel like I am there for certain viewers, you know, people who like to hear a little common sense, who don't like to get into the doom and gloom. I feel like I'm there for you guys, which is why I'm on those shows. You know what I'm saying? C Black, thank you, brother. The pick is getting crimson. D Raven, I don't know what you're talking about, brother. Yo, Z Black said only Bernie is for real. Yo, Cali Rex, what is up, brother? Alright, Callie asked me, what are my thoughts about Donald Trump talking about video games? It doesn't change from everything I've just said about politicians and video games. It's the same freaking thing. I feel like he doesn't know what he's talking about anyway. It's the safe thing to blame. You know, so this way you're taking focus off social issues. And you're just blaming one demographic. You're blaming one thing. When it comes to these issues, when it comes to mass shootings, when it comes to overall immorality and like heinous acts, it's never down to one thing. It's always a group of things put together. All right, so you can never blame one thing for anything. It's usually a group of things all put together. So he doesn't know what he's talking about either. But it's easy. It's just easy to blame video games and move on. Try to pass a bill here and there. Make like the older demographic in the United States a little bit happier. Maybe they feel a little bit safer, even though that's not the issue. All right, I'm checking out the chat one more time, but I also got to get to playing games, man. I get Sunday and Monday off. I'm trying to play games tonight as well. All right, we're getting off to a different subject here in the chat. Yo, thank you guys for hanging out with me. Like I said, I feel like it's an important topic. We might also cover this on next podcast this coming Saturday. So if you're following me on Twitter, tweet out whether or not you want to hear the entire panel discuss this whole thing when it comes to violence in video games and who or what is really to blame. Hit me up on Twitter. Let me know if that's something you want to hear us talk about this coming Saturday. I feel it's a really important subject. I also feel like there's going to be quite a few YouTubers out there who aren't necessarily going to touch on that topic because it's quote-unquote sensitive. But I also feel like, you know, we have a voice out here and we can't just talk about comfortable things all the time. You know, we got to talk about serious issues as well. But thank you guys for hanging out with me. I really do appreciate it. If you haven't done it yet, definitely subscribe to this channel. I got a couple more videos planned for the week. One of them, giving props to Call of Duty for taking the first step in ending any type of resolution debate. I think it's going to be a really good video. Definitely stay tuned for that. Definitely hit that sub button. As usual, if you like the topic, you like the gameplay going on behind the scenes, definitely hit that thumbs up button. But other than that, guys, you have an amazing night. I'm going to go game. I don't know what I'm going to play yet. I don't know if I'm going old school Doom. I don't know if I'm playing golf. I have no idea. I still got grinding to do in Destiny as well. But thank you guys for hanging out with me. Have a great night, and I will see you again very, very soon.
I got problems on problems on problems on problems on problems on problems I solve them. I run through the money, the pressure be calling. Left on my blessings, I feel like I'm falling. The birdie is back. Tell me I'm garbage, I'm going through something, that's why I ain't calling. Phone and progression is all that I wanted. The phone and affection, I summon and dub it, cause I got problems on problems.